Hangover. That's right. It's the After Party Hangover. I'm your host, Mangria Fueled, and this is the show that talks about a show that talks about a show. Today on the podcast, with nearly 2,500 Instagram followers, almost 900 posts, the awesome Aussie, the wrestling guy. That wrestling guy. What's going on, my man?
Yeah, man, you get my fucking name right.
I'm sorry. My brain has been scrambled all day, dude. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can tell.
So, let's start out like I always do.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Would you please explain to the listeners your Instagram name?
It wasn't as boring as Andy's fucking story. No, look, I have always created silly edits and videos pretty much all my life, and I thought I'd just start an Instagram account, and I didn't really think too much about it. I'm like, oh, what's kind of vague? And it's like, oh, hey, like, there's that wrestling guy. It's like, like anything. Oh, there goes that wrestling guy. Because amongst my friendship group, as you probably have, I don't know, if you've got too many close mates who, like, a lot of my mates grew out of it, and I'm the only one that's still stuck with it. So I am known to my friends as just like, oh, yeah, he's into wrestling. That's that wrestling guy. Yeah, isn't it? That Sam guy. Yeah, that wrestling guy. He likes wrestling. So
there's Sam.
I just thought, fuck it up.
There's Sam,
yeah.
That wrestling guy. There he is. Well,
that's it. So that's the name.
How did you start watching wrestling? What caught your interest, and how old were you when you started watching it?
So in Australia, it was very rare to get a hold of tapes, because like we were we were like 2 weeks behind, and 2, it was on like cable. You guys cable, we call it pay TV, whatever. And I just saw, like, I grew up in the Monday Night Wars.
Yeah.
So I think I saw like Sable with those handprints on her tits. Do you remember that?
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah,
that made me a man.
Yeah, man. So I think we just traded tapes back and forth, and I do like way back wrestling, and it's good to go back and look, because you forget when you're watching it as a kid what kind of like ridiculous shit they came up with.
Your Instagram is very funny. I love all your segments. I love the face swaps, way back wrestling, and my personal favorite, what makes me sick. That every time you do that one, it makes me laugh, man. And the interesting thing about the face swaps with I think your most controversial has to be Kevin Owens and Kofi. Just the way that turned out, it looks so bizarre, man.
Yeah, well, those shows, and I've just moved states, so I'm trying to get more consistent getting back, because I know people enjoy way back wrestling and what makes me sick. That's my favourite segment too, because things do make me sick. I'm just trying to get back into the groove. I'm living in a new state, the home of Buddy Murphy, like Melbourne. So I'm trying to get adjusted back to living and making content. But the face swaps, the fucking face swaps as we call them, they take on a life of their own. I just go, okay, let's see what we can do, and I try and make them as weird and as.
How did you come up with it? Like, what gave you that idea to begin with?
Shit, I think I did it as a joke. And then because Finn Balor shared one of my face swaps on his page.
That's right.
Do you remember that?
Right. Yep.
I'm like,
and it just caught fire from there, huh?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, so like Finn's post got like 250,000 likes or whatever, and he credited me, which is good. So, but I was like, oh fucking, because they don't take very long, but they're really effective. Like I just kind of stuff around with
And Roman and Elias, they're the same person. I mean, it's an impossible face swap. You can't do it unless Elias wears 5,000 scarves or something, and one gets on his face. They're gonna look the same every time.
Yeah, exactly. And some people don't like them. Some people are like, oh, dude, like, why are you doing fucking face swaps for? I'm like, look, I don't really like them either, but I'll keep doing them because people like them, and they're just stupid and dumb. And my whole page, it says it. It's just full of random shit. It's whatever comes up in my head. I just post. There's no real kind of common theme to it or anything like that. It's just like, yeah, let's fucking go with it and see what happens, and just post a bunch of random shit.
The what makes me sick is very funny to me because everything you post on that is what I'm thinking. Like when you put the Super Showdown, it's equal to or greater than WrestleMania. That was bullshit. I can't believe they used that slogan for that stupid ass show.
Yeah, I know. The equaler was like, who the fuck came up with that? Like creative. They've got this whole creative team, this big marketing team, and the best they could come up with is like equal or exceeds. I'm like,
I guarantee you that writer was fired right after Super Showdown. He was fired, and then I've always wanted to ask you this: when you do your videos, specifically the July 31st video where they announced Charlotte versus Trish, and you were in your car, and you said, "Why? What the hell were people around you doing? Can people see you when you make these videos?"
Yeah,
Shit, dude.
Oh, dude, like sometimes, this lady just like stopped and stared once because it's like, who's this crazy person yelling into his phone essentially? Because and like when I open the door and I wind down my window, there are fucking genuinely people out there, and they're like, "Who is this dude?" Like,
well, in that video I referenced, you opened the door and said, "Hey, sir, why? Do you know?" No, okay, and you close your door. I was like, "Did he really just ask somebody?"
That just completely startled me. It's like, what? No.
Dude, that made me laugh so hard.
And it's the videos, and I'll give you. I don't know how many people listen to it, but the insider thing, it's kind of I just come off the cuff with that stuff. I don't really plan it; it just comes out naturally. So I'll watch the show the night, and I'll go, okay, just give me one bullet point, and it just comes off naturally. So me opening the door is not pre-planned. It's just something that I feel
in the moment.
Yeah.
My second favorite video of yours of all time is probably the most controversial. Is when you had that Baron Corbin shirt on and you ripped it like a Hulkamaniac.
Oh yeah,
that was hella funny, dude.
You know how fucking good that felt.
I could see the pure joy in your eyes as you tore that shirt off.
The best thing about that is I get to still wear it as like a ripped shirt.
Yeah, as a prop.
Yeah, as a prop. But I mean, the reason that I even got that shirt is because of fucking Jake.
The bet.
Anyway, lost the bet. So
yeah.
I thought, how could I, it actually, because some WWE shirts don't fit very well.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of a bit loose and stuff, and it's pretty ironic. The Baron Corbin shirt actually fit really well. So I was like, it's a good fitting shirt, but I'm essentially wearing like a piece of shit on me every single. Like I couldn't take it anymore.
Well,
it's like.
Speaking of losing bets, the Chop Shop from WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It sounded like somebody was attacking you with a kendo stick. The chops, the audio from that was brutal, dude.
Okay. So Jake and fucking Zanka, they don't do it like without a shirt on. Like, I mean, that would be disturbing to see Jake without a shirt on. But I think they just hit each other like a cross on the t-shirt. I'm like, well, no, fuck that. We did a proper chop.
You saw how aggressive they threw salt at each other. Like, not very aggressive at all.
No, it's just like, have some salt, Jake. It's like, no, I would have just thrown it as hard as I could in that cunt's face.
Well, why didn't they unscrew the top? They should have unscrewed the top and poured it. I mean, I don't want them to go blind for real, but I mean, if they really want to pay tribute to Mr. Fuji,
Exactly. It was a poor tribute.
What you have to do in those situations is think, what would Fuji do?
Exactly.
WWFD.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, go ahead.
I don't know. What was that point? What would you ask me about? The chops. Yeah, man. Like, so my partner at the time, I was like, can you just like chop me with the order? And she whacked the shit out of me. Like,
oh my god, dude, it was so brutal.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, that's. I mean, it was good for the comedy, but I had a really, really, really red chest up.
Did you get in a fight right before that, or what? Did she just really want to take her anger out on you?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, she's just like, this is my opportunity to get him back for going out and drinking last night or whatever. Just slap me.
Jesus.
Yeah. Anyway.
That was award-winning. But, okay, how did you... Speaking of the Still Real Boys, how did you discover the podcast, the Still Real After Party podcast?
Well, I was trying to think of this, and I don't really know how we even started DMing or even being a part of it. I think because I got the account for a couple. Well, it's coming up. It's 2 years in November, and I don't know. I think I saw one of my posts, and then I liked their content. I don't know, and then so I used to be on their podcast a hell of a lot more. They got a bit, they don't really because I'm too much to handle on their podcast, so they don't have me on there anymore.
You're too extreme, man. You're too extreme.
They're pussies. They won't have me. They're like, whatever. And Jake hates me, I think, so it's all good.
They really take that Baron Corbin hate to the heart, man. They take it personal for some reason.
Well, everyone, it seems like the whole after party fucking community is against me.
I mean, see them dogpile on you anytime you say something bad about Corbin. I'm like, geez, guys.
Yeah, let's fucking ease up. I mean, at least, like, I think Zank is technically my advocate, but I don't know how well he's doing in terms of that. Like, I'm copping a lot of shit, and I'm copping a lot of shit.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of that, this past week's podcast, he said he hopes Baron Corbin wins so he can hear the cries from Australia. So it's kind of a weird advocate here.
Oh, look, he's not going to win. You know who's going to win? Ali is going to win.
Do you think so, for real? Ali?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're way there. I don't know. I think so. That's all I hope. I mean, I just couldn't deal with a fucking reign of King Corbin and all the shit that's going to come with it. Terms of, so I just don't want him to win because I don't want everyone to just be like, oh, all hail King Corbin. I already get tagged in enough shit related to Baron Corbin. I don't want to see him and his ugly fucking face with a crown on every week.
So does that mean that you predict that Corbin will make it to the finals to take on Ali?
Yeah, that's what I reckon.
Oh, wow. I wonder if it'd be a good match. Ali's a great performer. Baron Corbin's good, but I guess time will tell. Do you have a favorite segment from the podcast?
From the podcast? Favorite segment?
Or memory?
Memory. Fuck. I don't know, man. We've had some pretty fun shows together. Like, and I don't know. They've obviously gotten a lot better because I remember at the very start that they were a bit off, but they're starting to get better. I think Jake's a bit too agreeable. I want him to be a bit more hard hitting and go against Zanka. I think he like.
Well, he says that's fair a lot. Whenever Zanka disagrees with him, he goes, "That's fair," and then he agrees with them.
I know. Yeah, like pussy, man. Like get angry and like fire up and stand by it. Like I'm standing by Corbin no matter what. Like exactly. I hate his guts. I'm not wavering.
Well, you've been. How long have you been watching wrestling? Like most of your life, or?
Yeah, so I went. Like ebb and like I took a bit of a break there. I don't know, 2011, 2012, I suppose, but it's been pretty consistent. It's been probably the most consistent thing. Oh, what the fuck is this asshole? Sorry, I'm driving at the moment.
Oh.
What? No indicator, Mangria.
Oh, Jesus.
They're going to kill me, man. They're going to kill me. They're just pulling out in front of me. They're going to kill me. I'm going to die. This is the last recorded interview. You've got the last sounds of that wrestling guy live because these guys just. Anyway.
Speaking of shitty drivers, I'll put my drivers in this town up against anyone in the world because I've been backed into twice in the drive-thru. A fucking drive-thru, dude. A Jack in the Box drive-thru. I'm sitting there waiting for this asshole to leave. Puts it in reverse, hits me. Not once.
What?
Twice.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's bad times.
That is bad times. Okay, maybe they're not as bad as that, dude. I haven't been hit in any drug. You guys have so much more fast food outlets than we do here, like chains.
Well, that's why I'm a fat fuck. I mean, you can't avoid it. Like everywhere you turn, it's a McDonald's or it's a fucking Burger King. So I'll be dead in 10 years.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you lived a good life, yeah.
But good times.
Yeah, like I don't even know what a Jack in the Box is.
Oh shit! It's bad food, is what it is.
Okay.
I asked you about how long you've been watching wrestling because it cut out on you when I asked you earlier, and I didn't want to be rude and like make you repeat everything. But
okay.
The reason,
since I was 10.
Do you have a favorite theme song?
Val Venus's theme song.
Val Venus, holy shit! Hello, ladies.
It's so good. It's so funny, and there's Titantron to it as well. And I think he's a fucking hilarious character, and he still is. Like, I think maybe Russo was writing. I don't know who was writing for him at the time, but they always come up with really good innuendos and going back and. I reckon it was, I love Val Venus's. And I also, if a bit more serious thing, I used to love the Brood's entrance song too.
Yeah.
Like that, with all the kind of weird noises at the start and they come through the fire. I really love that thing.
Gothic noises and weird breathing and shit.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. So, Attitude Era themes, obviously, I think, better now. I mean, Buddy Murphy's new theme. Well,
what the fuck is it? Why did they change it? It was good the way it was.
It was.
Plus, it reminded me of Alexa Bliss and everything. Like, I had all good stuff behind it, and they had to change it to some generic stock rock shit. The hell's up with that?
Exactly stock rock. Like, it's not. So a theme can make it, dude. Too. Like, so it's if you've got a strong theme, then. You've seen like audience because it's chant along, and like Shinsuke.
Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode for it. Like that's the only thing that carried him till now is his fucking glorious music. And Shinsuke got so irritated by it, he had to add words to his.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have a? Huh?
Yeah, go on. Yeah, you go.
Well, I was gonna move on to favorite superstar. Is it Val Venus as well?
Eugene.
Oh my, could you imagine them trying to do that today?
No.
A special needs character that wasn't actually special needs.
So, I'm never going to run out of way back wrestling material because of Eugene.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's incredible stuff.
It's an embarrassment of riches for material.
Oh, it's never ending. Like the funny, and I forgot that he used to do everyone's finisher. I've totally forgot about that. So he'd dropping stunners and rock bottoms. And,
I forgot people started booing him. I felt so bad for him.
Yes,
he's like, I'm doing the best retarded character I can.
I know. I think, and I've seen some really bad signs too, like around that era about Eugene, like. Like retarded. They don't say that. They say nincompoop.
I should have known better.
Zanka says retard anyway. It doesn't.
Yeah, when he gets fired up, he lets the chains off and starts saying rape and retard and.
Yeah. It's a good time. Look, favorite. Oh shit. I've always been a big Jericho guy. Just because I like his creativity.
Yeah, Jericho's a good choice.
Just because in the Monday Night Wars, I even liked him then when he was doing that whole gimmick and with he had that feud with Goldberg. That's I vividly remember that. Watching that, so I've always been a Jericho fan from there on, and the way he's like, dude's nearly 50, man. He's killing it. Like he's great, and the way and his books, he's really, I think he's probably one of my favorites.
Another interesting thing about that whole Goldberg Jericho angle, that was one of the few angles that they added the reality element to it. You remember?
Yeah.
Jericho brought up the fact that Goldberg didn't want to face him in WCW, and that was like the whole driving fact behind their feud. I thought that was pretty cool that they brought reality in because they hadn't normally done that before.
I agree, and the best thing out of it is to call him Greenberg. That's so good. He's like Greenberg because he's like, hella green, like in the industry, and I thought that was really, really clever too. So that was kind of an insight. Like before, it was kind of cool to like break kayfabe a little bit, I suppose. He dropped that in, which was like using insider terms and stuff like that. So
is your favorite match a Jericho match?
No, look, I mean, I know it's pretty stereotypical, but mine is Rock and Austin at WrestleMania 17.
Oh, the second one.
The second one, man. The second one in Houston.
Is it because of the shock factor where Austin turned heel?
I just thought that build was really fucking good.
Do you remember the video package for that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that, and the way that they, like, if you watch that build up, like they were closing out every show, and great promos, like two of the best of all time. I thought it was built really well, and the noise of the crowd, like being in Texas, and then the heel turn. Even though in hindsight, I don't think the heel turn went really well in terms of that, but
yeah, it was a little awkward.
But I thought at the time, it's like, oh shit, in Texas, Vince has helped Austin, and I thought, you go back and listen, JR's commentary is really fucking good too, and Heyman's on there as well.
Yes.
And Heyman's really good color as well, like color commentator.
He's like, they're gonna be talking about this moment forever. You remember him saying that? Yep.
And I thought, and I mean, it made it a hell of a lot better match too, because the whole show was really fucking good too, and it kind of built. Obviously, had the TLC on that as well. Even like Shane, Vince was a great match,
and Taker and Triple H and that no holds barred match.
Yeah, and then it built to this ending, and I thought it was just perfect. And I remember watching it because I used to tape the pay-per-views and then watch them after school, because I have to watch, like, the pay-per-views are in the middle of the day in Australia, and they always have been. So I have to watch after school. And I remember being glued to that match, and I've actually got I don't really collect figures. I don't collect like pops like fucking Jake or anything like that. I don't shove pops up my ass and fucking whatever he does with pops, I don't know. But I've got one like collector thing I got from Japan, which is a Stone Cold WrestleMania 17 figure with the belt and a bit of the set. And I got that from Japan. So
the set. Do you remember that set? That set was awesome.
Fucking oath, yeah. So, and it cost me a bit, but it's like it sits up there. And,
but it's worth it.
Definitely. So that's probably the favorite.
If you ever meet Stone Cold, would you have him autograph it?
Yeah. Look, I don't know when I don't get starstruck, and I think that I would with Steve.
You've never gotten starstruck with any wrestler?
Not really, man. I think they're people. Like I don't get like all marky. I don't know. I just I'm like, okay, like I'd go up to them, but I wouldn't be like, oh my god, I can't breathe type thing. But I think like some of the fans are fucking weird.
I've met a lot of them, and it's just as soon as I walk up to them, my mind goes blank, and I feel like an idiot. But the whole time waiting in line, I'm like, I'm gonna ask them this, I'm gonna ask them this, I'm gonna ask them that, and then I'm just like a nincompoop when I meet them.
Yeah, okay. Well, you did well with the sign, the after party sign.
That was hard, dude.
Becky.
I was so nervous.
Yeah. Well, you did it well, though. Yeah.
Thank you. Do you have a favorite gimmick match?
Gimmick match? There was, God, gimmick match.
So many.
Judy Bagwell on a fucking pole match.
Oh my god. Holy crap, man. I watched, I did a way back wrestling on that, and I had to watch the whole thing. It is, and the lead up storyline too, it's just like, wow, this is just incredible, like having someone's mum elevated on a pitchfork. It's like, that's a shame WCW didn't work out, huh?
Well, I don't know why. Like, that was in between that and giving David Arquette the belt. I mean, like, I don't know how they managed not to stay in business, to be honest.
What the hell happened to the Warrior, man? That was a weird one. The One Warrior Nation.
Oh, that match with Hogan. Oh my god!
It was awful.
Oh, like the rematch of the year Or the rematch of the decade or some shit they were promoted as.
They built it up so much and delivered us shit on a shingle.
Yeah, shit on a shingle. Exactly right. You couldn't have said it any better. It was, and the fireball. Oh, Hogan fucked up the fire. Oh, it's just,
I haven't seen a bigger letdown since Big Show versus Khali.
Oh, man. Someone said the other day that their favourite wrestler was Great Khali to me. I don't know if you saw that on my story. But
they're just messing with you.
No, she wasn't. Nuh-uh. She wasn't. She was like, I always loved the Great Khali. I'm like, so I threw a drink on her and then left.
It was probably her uncle.
Yeah, you're right. But it's just like, I couldn't believe it. So anything to do with the Great Khali was absolute dog shit, like, let's be honest.
Did you used to play the WWE video games back in the day or currently?
Yeah, I did. I like Raw versus SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain, those kind of ones. I've also got all the ones on Nintendo 64, which I still have.
Legendary.
Yeah, like No Mercy, WCW versus NWO, WrestleMania 2000.
Those are the only wrestling games I can get my friends to play, were the Nintendo 64 ones. All the other ones are like, those are gay.
Those are gay. Those are gay. And there's an ECW one as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it's I used to video game hardcore, but I don't see much anymore because I do get addicted and I don't get much else done. So if I started playing video games, I don't think I'd have much content.
Just look at Jake.
Exactly, he doesn't even watch wrestling. He doesn't even watch the fucking shows, man.
He's got a wrestling podcast, doesn't watch wrestling.
Doesn't watch wrestling. Hey, did you watch the match, Jake? No. Did you watch the show? No. Gonna watch AEW? No. Gonna watch no. Doesn't know shit. Oh.
Speaking of watching wrestling, are you gonna check out the 2 big shows on Saturday?
Yeah. I'm going. It's Father's Day on Sunday in Australia. So it's on a Sunday during the day. But I will definitely watch it. I'll avoid spoilers and watch it Sunday night. I'll watch All Out. And because I like what they're doing at the moment, I am a little bit worried about ongoing events. We'll see. I really hope that they get like weekly television. I really hope that it works out really well, and I'm looking forward to seeing them go head to head with NXT, which is also huge.
You know what I heard today? I just heard today because I don't keep up with NXT UK. There's a rumored match that Cesaro might fight Pete Dunne.
Ooh,
that
nice.
would be fucking epic, dude.
Nice. I like it.
I'm going to definitely check that out. As far as All Out, I'll probably get drunk and eventually order it. So I'll say right now that I'm not going to get it, but after I watch the pre-show, I'll be like, fuck it, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
That's usually what happens.
Yeah, I'll watch it later for sure.
Well, I don't know if you heard. What was that? You want me to go?
Yeah, go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard, but I started my own crumb-offs. It's the finishing move crumb-offs.
The finishing move crumb-offs.
Finishing move crumb-offs, and each guest that I've had on here, I've had them pick 2 finishing moves that they're favorite. And there have been 8 chosen, and I have a feeling that you're going to choose one that I chose. Because the 2 that I chose are the Big Boot from Test and the Ankle Lock from Kurt Angle.
Right, okay.
What are your 2 favorite finishing moves that you would like to add to the brackets?
Well, what else has been in the brackets? Can you run through so I don't...
Yes, the Jackhammer, Razor's Edge.
Jackhammer?
Yeah, guess who picked that?
What? Who? Fucking Andi?
Yep.
What an asshole.
The Kinshasa, the End of Days.
Oh, no.
Shake, Rattle, and Roll, which was a funny one. And the Midnight Hour, the tag team finisher, which I didn't even put any thought into. But it could be any 2 finishing moves you like.
Okay, well, I'm going to go because the tag team one just popped into my head. I always loved this finisher because of the crowd noise when it was like coming up. So I'm going to go the 3D.
Oh, nice.
It's a great finisher, cracking through a table in the crowd. 3D.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like
Always got to pop.
Always cool. Always fucking cool. Really cool finish of the 3D.
Especially when they did it to senior citizens.
Yes. No wonder my young died.
God rest her soul.
God rest her soul. Like, she fucking took that stuff.
She took a licking, man.
She did. Jesus. Wow. What's another finisher that we can go for individually that I really think is cool? Shit. I'm not going to go some generic. What do we got? This one's the Razor's Edge. I reckon the Razor's Edge is shit.
Those are both Andy's.
See, the reason why I hate the guy, he just picks the worst finishes ever. The Razor's Edge and the jackhammer. God, he's licking WCW's ass. I suppose Razor's Edge was in WWF. What do we got? I'm just going to look. I'm just going to put, I'm going to go with, stick on the Velveeta's team. I'm going to go with the Money Shot.
Oh, shit.
Just because of the name of it, it's a great finishing move. Like, he was a porn star and he called it the Money Shot.
It's perfect.
It's perfect. So just for that, just the name. I mean, it was a big splash, but still, I think the Money Shot's a great finish.
Nice, man. Okay, well, let me dig into my Instagram bag of questions here. I've asked about 54, 55 Instagram questions, and I saved this one question that was actually serious. And I asked it to the boys, and I think I explained it wrong. I said, do you ever think we'll see a pro wrestling Olympics in our lifetime? Meaning every promotion getting together to really see who the best in the world is. I didn't mean Olympics literally. Like, people getting gold medals and shit. I meant, like, you know, kind of like an invasion style thing where there'd be, like, a tournament with all the promotions fighting and they can agree who should win and who shouldn't win. Do you think we'll ever see that?
Like a World Cup?
Sort of, yeah.
Okay. Wouldn't promotions, like, I think it's a great idea, but, like, wouldn't promotions be like, well, how come our boys aren't going over? Do you know what I mean? Like, how come, like, we're not putting ours, like, why is, because I'm sure, like, WWE would put the power move in and go, damn it, we're the best in the world, you know what I mean?
Well, see, that's what makes the question, is do you ever think, I'm thinking maybe when Vince passes, maybe Triple H will finally be like, you know what, let's bring all the boys in and it's good for the business, but until Vince McMahon croaks, we're not going to get any branching out of any sorts.
Yeah, I think, honestly, like, there's rumors going around that, like, AEW was associated with WWE at some point. Look, competition is good for
the business
and it always has been. So, if they did have that fucking show, man, they could put it in the 100,000 seat stadium. If they got all the promotions together, like, that'd be like a one-time deal, promotion versus promotion, dream match versus dream match. I think, if it's going to happen, look, I want it to happen, so I'm going to say yes. Way down the line. Once, because you don't know what the business is going to be like in 10, 20 years. It could be like completely different, you know? You don't
exactly.
want to, so...
It keeps evolving with social media and streaming, and all this other stuff could affect how it is run in 10 years, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. So I would love to see a World Cup, man, and I'd love to see, Australian... Rhea Ripley by then will be the best women's wrestler of all time. So,
well, hopefully they won't have the World Cup in Saudi Arabia. So maybe they'll put it somewhere else where people can't, get decapitated afterwards.
Yeah, it'd be good. Yeah. I think actually let women go and wrestle and stuff like
exactly.
that. Let them drive. Let them vote. Let them, I don't know.
Let them read.
Yeah. Let them. That
well,
kind of shit.
Now it's time to recap the Steel Rail After Party episode, Fuji Fun Time, or as it's always going to be known as...
Fuji movie. Yeah. That got stuck in my head.
Yeah, he kept saying it over and over, and it was funny.
I know.
And a major shout out to Mr. _Tryon's email. The way he booked that Survivor Series match was fucking hilarious, man. The part that made me laugh the most was when he said Jake's severed head lantern looks up and says, "Please talk," because Zanka and the Fiend were staring each other down. That was fucking funny, dude.
Yeah, they come up with some good shit in those the comments and the hashtag guys and everything like that. Yeah, it was good shit.
I noticed that Jake, he's easing up on Sasha Banks. Did you catch that?
Yeah, I did.
Because he hates Lesnar and he hates Sasha, and just recently he's starting to miss them and he's complimenting Sasha. What is going on with our boy Jake? What is up with him?
Because he fucking flip flops, man. He's like, he doesn't keep the one
Fickle.
opinion. Like
Fickle,
exactly. Fickle and stupid, man. I love you, Jake. I don't really. I hate him.
and that goldfish memory. What the hell, man?
I know he's got no. Look, he's. I don't know who keeps putting him as the number one host, but he's not even. He's not even the top 100.
Oh man. So even Linda's Bush is above him?
Linda's Bush is my number one. I'd love me some Linda's Bush. Anyway, yeah. Look, it's I like the Fuji segment. I thought that was, and like you said, Zanka's like, yeah, like I had to come up with this one. Usually I just come up with and then Jake executes, but this is Zanka's brainchild. So
Zanka is a Fuji fanatic. Did you know that in the beginning?
No, I didn't know he was. I didn't know he liked Fuji at all. I can't even. Shit, I wasn't even really aware of Fuji's work. Man, that's probably like he's going to kill me for saying that. But like I knew that who he was, but I didn't really have this fond memory of Fuji at all.
What is your memory of him? Like, do you have a specific Fuji memory that you can recall that will always stick in your brain?
No, not really. Like the Hall of Fame. Like honestly, like I don't. Just because it was a bit before, like the Hogan and that type of era is a bit before, and I haven't really gone. I'm not a big fan of that era, maybe because I didn't like. I've gone back and watched a few things, but
yeah,
I don't know. I wasn't really a big fan of that. I'm not a big Hulk Hogan fan.
I was, but I was a little kid. So
yeah,
as soon as Bret Hart showed up, I was like, "Oh, who's this guy?"
Yeah, I wasn't even. So I missed a lot of the Fuji stuff. So Fuji didn't make it to Australia, unfortunately. There's no Fuji fandom down here. There's no Fuji fan club.
It's just like Sam to piss off his advocate.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Brock and Paul. Brock pisses off Paul sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. I like when Brock gives him the mic and says, "Here, say something stupid."
Yeah, exactly.
Well, speaking of Zanka, he brought up a couple good points. One about heavy machinery, that the point that they need each other, they can't really be singles, and Bo and Axel could be better singles than a tag. I thought that was a pretty good point.
Yeah, well, heavy machinery. Yeah, they can't. Well, that's the whole gimmick is they're being together. There's no way. I don't necessarily disagree. I agree. Like, I mean, I think Otis could be like a lovable singles guy.
Tucky turning heel on him?
Tucky could turn heel, yeah, but I think, I don't know, they're just going to be one of those tag teams that just sticks together, and I don't know if they'll ever get the belts or anything like that. But
I can see the future of that, and it's not going to end up well.
No.
Otis is going to have a Scotty 2 Hottie solo run and then fizzle out and be forgotten probably.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they don't care about tag teams like you say. They fucked up the
exactly
Raider Warrior experience. So
yep.
So they don't really care about it. So I mean, but the thing is with social media, like they can get themselves up. They're so funny. I watched the Celtic Warrior workout.
Yeah.
It's so funny. So funny, like Otis and Tucky, like walking out, like especially like Otis is like even like saying like yeah, like even like when he's warming up and stuff in the gym. So they're just naturally, entertaining, so they'll be able to get themselves over it, like, on the internet, like, I reckon, without having to worry about TV time. And I think that's where the future of the business is going.
Well, I mean,
Anyway,
it is possible, too, that they could bring them back to NXT, and they can thrive on NXT. Because they're going to need ratings, and if they bring Enzo and Cass over, like it's rumored, that'd be an interesting feud.
Yeah, I think that rumor got debunked, didn't it?
Oh, it did?
I don't know. I typed it in just before and had a look, and I think that I don't think it's happening. Oh, well, at least that's what WWE have said, told PW Insider or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, I don't mind him coming back. I don't mind him at all.
Well, controversy causes ratings, so that would have been a pretty good ratings grab. 100%. Another theory that Zenka had that was fantasy booking was the point he made about Roman turning heel on Daniel Bryan. You remember he brought that up? That whole... He told WWE they could use it, like they're listening, but I thought that was an interesting storyline. Twist is having Roman resent the fans, and then Daniel Bryan all of a sudden turning face, which is... I don't know if I like that. Like, he's been such an excellent heel, but, I mean, you know, the universe would shatter if Roman turned heel.
Yeah, I don't see Roman ever going heel like John Cena did. I think there'll always be calls for it. Yeah. I think he's just going to be, like, I don't think they're ever going to... Because he's the top guy, even though Seth's got he's the top guy. He's the number one at the moment. And I don't think that he'll ever be. I mean, it'd be great. It'd be good for us to, but I mean, they're focusing on a different market and a different perspective. Like,
and Roman, like you said, Roman's gonna be their John Cena, their Hogan. He's gonna always be face, probably.
I think so. But I think it's a cool idea. But I love, like you just said before, Mangria, that Daniel Bryan's heel work is
fantastic. He is nailing it.
Fantastic. He's done so well to turn the yes chant and the yes movement, which was so over, into no yeses for him.
He destroyed that with a genius promos and having Rowan as his heavy. I mean, he's just... I was disappointed they didn't turn the tag titles hemp. I thought they were going to have the hemp tag titles, but I guess that Vince probably didn't want that.
No, well, they didn't have them that long, did they?
That's true. Maybe like a month and a half or something.
Yeah. And I'm not really down with the whole Roman-Daniel storyline anyway at the moment. Cause
I think everyone hates it. They're going to need to do an extreme, drastic turn to make people interested again.
And I think that's what Zanka was kind of... referring to when he said it, to go, okay, how do we bring the people back into this? There's got to be something a bit more dramatic than Daniel Bryan was all along. It's like, oh, really? Okay, cool. Now just have a good match, please. You went through it.
Do you think Bischoff has his hands on it at all?
I don't know. If he does, then it's not good.
Yeah, and then you hear the reports of Vince McMahon tearing up the script like the day before, then rewriting everything.
Well, maybe it's a Vince thing, because Vince, I think I was listening to a something to wrestle with thing, and it's like, what's the deal with like this constant theme of like just like shit falling on people and stuff? Is it like a Vince thing, or I think it is. I think it's like just have him crash down on the fucking, like have beams fall on him. That'll do. Like a whodunit type thing. And it's just like, well, it'd be okay if they didn't show the video package 8,000 times.
When you said stuff falling on Roman like that, I just got a flashback of Braun throwing the grappling hook on the stage and pulling it down onto Brock. You remember that?
Exactly.
So it could be a Vince thread.
Yeah, it is. And like, he likes that kind of stuff, even if you go back to kind of the Attitude Era and all that kind of stuff. It's always been.
That's such good shit.
Yeah, it is such good shit. It works. Yeah. No, look, I just want them to have a good match, and they will when they eventually have a match. But I just think this hasn't been done very well.
Another favorite segment on the podcast this past week was when I made Jake turn into Trump. And Zanka into Rey Mysterio and Dominic. I actually just came up with that when I woke up in the morning because I couldn't think straight. But Trump telling Rey he's going to be deported, and then Zanka's Rey Mysterio impression sounded French or Cajun, where he's like, "No, I don't like this." That made me laugh the most, dude.
Yeah, I agree. I love how much he hates Dominic.
That it's epic, man. That Dominic, and then he made Dominic sound like an angry 30-year-old who just smoked a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah, I know. It adds to it, man. Like the worst impressions are the funniest.
Exactly.
And, and I don't think Zanka does a worst funnier impression. Like he does it better than anybody else.
You know what's funny? He didn't say it, but in the question I put in parentheses, just do a Latino Stone Cold because all his impressions are Stone Cold. Just a
They are. All his impressions are Stone Cold. You're right.
It's a variation of Stone Cold, so I just put Latino Stone Cold, and then he started with his Cajun accent. Mon ami.
Mon ami. Yeah, that was good. I like the show. I like the recurring. It's like, the fucking
Def Lars
stuff with Def Lars. That shit is, that's even Stone Cold too.
Yeah.
And I think that is and it just comes organically too, which is hilarious. Like they just say he sounds deaf, and then all of a sudden they've got a Def Lars character, which is fucking hilarious. Like, come on, that's one of the best characters. Yeah, and I hope he does come back deaf.
Sam, I gotta upset you here, man. I'm sorry.
What are you doing?
There is a message that was just sent to me right now, and it needs your attention. So let me just play it.
Okay. All right.
That wrestling guy. I don't know what your problem is with me, because ever since that sign hit Stomping Ground, and it will be permanently on the WWE Network, I'm pretty sure your following has gone through the roof. Through the roof. So, first off, you are welcome. You are welcome. I expect a thank you coming here soon. Number two, you brought this upon yourself. I wouldn't have had it gone to drastic measures to get your attention if you simply would have just followed through on the bet. You know what bet I'm talking about. Follow through with it, Sam. I could probably get in contact with people in the WWE Network and try to get that sign blurred out or something, and, I'll make all this #TWG loves Baron Corbin go away. If you would just follow through with the bet, you know what I'm talking about. Follow through with the bet. And if you don't follow through with the bet, that's fine. I'll find my way all the way to Aussieland, and I will beat your ass, and then I will eat your ass. That's not a prediction. That's not a spoiler. That, my friend, is a spoon full of truth.
There you go, man. What's your rebuttal to Andy's throwing down the challenge of coming through with a bet? What bet is he talking about?
I think the bet is for me to, I don't know, I won the bet, so I get to take his wife. I think that's the bet. Look at him cutting promos. Oh, good on you, Andy. You went on a bit of a rant, mate. Well done. Look at you.
You motivated him. He saw your rants and you motivated him.
Yeah, getting a bit of personality. Fuck, I heard this interview that you did with him. You sounded like a fucking brick wall the whole time. Okay, I know what bet he's talking about, but to go this far over a bet about, it's just me fucking beer bonging a beer, I think. Like, I think that's what he's referring to. I've completely forgotten about this bet. I think it's beer bonging a beer, but I mean, I could do that fucking tomorrow if he wants to. But the fact that from just that simple thing, he went to a show with his small child and brought him into the shitness of Corbyn and said, hey, look, we're going to tell complete lies to the whole world at my fucking expense? Man. Get your ass here to Australia. You have no idea. One, if the fucking kangaroos and the snakes don't fucking kill you when you get off the plane, you drive over to my house, man, and you see, you can come and eat my ass all you want, alright? It tastes like Vegemite. My ass tastes like Vegemite, man.
Oh my God.
Eat it as much as you like. We'll try and get there first. We'll see what happens. You bring your ass over to Aussie land. But better yet, I'm going to be coming to WrestleMania. And I know we've got a referee already lined up.
Oh.
One of the, I don't know. Maybe you want to meet me there. I can go on your turf. It doesn't matter, man. Bring your kid. I'll take your kid too, and your wife, and your whole family, and your life, all right? Because this has gone too far. This is beyond me. This is beyond me chugging a fucking beer, man. You've gone way too far, and I'm not giving up. And guess what? There's more content that's going to be paying you out coming, man. Don't just think that I've stopped by putting your face on my face. It's just the beginning. It's just the beginning, man.
He lit the fuse. He lit the fuse right now because you at first you were slow to respond, but now you are fired up, my friend.
I'm fucking look. He disrespected with TWG loves Corbyn. That was like the biggest insult in my life. Okay, I've been insulted before, but that really absolutely
he crossed the line.
He crossed the line, man. So there's no line anymore. We're going way beyond any line. And keep running your mouth, whatever, come to Aussie land. You wouldn't survive one fucking day in Aussie land, man.
I don't know, Sam. You gotta beware the spoon. Beware the spoon.
That's not a knife. That's not a spoon. It's a knife.
Oh man, dude, you are fucking hilarious. Thank you for being on this, even though the universe was against us today, but we made it happen, by God.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
So let me throw out these plugs for the Steel Roll After Party. Instagram, you want to follow Jake, give him shit about the pops. It's at After Party Jake. If you want to follow Zanka, give him shit about Fuji. It's at After Party Zanka. And you follow the podcast at Still Real to Us. And Facebook, you search Still Real After Party and hit that like button. And if you want to cover your nips, shop.spreadshirt.com/stillrealafterparty. Is there anything you would like to plug? Sam, that wrestling guy.
Yeah. You forgot about Jake's tiny dick too. Really keep bringing that up.
What about Zanka's butthole?
Yeah, look, plug, whatever, look, that wrestling guy, I've got a shop with t-shirts, but it's just more of a joke thing. Like, people have actually bought them, which I think is ridiculous.
So go ahead and plug it, man. I'll buy it. Do you make them?
It's on my Instagram.
Do you make the shirts in size queen bed sheet? Because then I can wear it.
Queen bed sheet. I'll look into that, man. I'll look into that. Okay, I'll just use my old bed sheet and I'll make you a personalised, customised.
Well, thank you, sir.
Wrestling guys t-shirt just for you. That's how much I appreciate you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that wrestling guy. Just don't fucking tag me in any Corbyn shit. It really brings me down. Don't mention Corbyn to me. Do not, just leave it. And if he wins King of the Ring, I'm probably gonna get rid of my account. So
You're just throwing gasoline on the fire, Sam.
I know. I secretly love it, but don't tell anyone.
Well, let's give it.
Come at me, everybody. Just come at me.
Let's give it a proper plug. It's that __ wrestling _ guy, correct? On Instagram.
That's the one, yeah. A couple of underscores. There are a couple of other wrestling guys, and they're shit. So that's why there's a couple of underscores.
And be sure to check out his shop.spreadshirt for his merchandise. Cover your nips with a That Wrestling Guy shirt. And go ahead and send him a message so you can get a shout out from Sam the man.
Just in time for Christmas too. That shit will... Yeah.
Perfect stocking stuffer.
Oh, plenty. Oh, look, everybody love it. It's merchandise for the whole family, seriously.
Hey, make a stocking that says That Wrestling Guy. There you go, see? New ideas here. I'll be your manager.
Please. So I've got an advocate and a manager now.
That's right,
shit.
man. There you go.
It's coming.
Well,
Right.
Sam, thank you very much for your time. And as always, all hail Linda's Bush.